Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. You're watching Just Law. Before the break, we were discussing immigration and family matters. I have a guest who is going to assist us with your questions. His name is Mohammed Iqbal. Good to have you on the show. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Right. There is an immigration bill coming up. Immigration Bill 2015.
Yes.
You had a read through it earlier on. What's this about?
Yeah, actually, in last year, we know that Immigration Act 2014 came along, squeezing all the appeal rights, except
also in terms of opening bank accounts, in terms of landlords renting out property, and additional issues in relation to employing somebody who hasn't got the right paperwork.
Yes.
Previously, people had sticker on an old passport; it was fine.
Yeah.
Now they had a table saying no, it has to be on the current passport.
Yeah.
If you had a paper sticker, it had to be a card. So they've sort of increased everything.
People could get driving license previously. Now, Immigration Bill 2015 just published 2 days ago, 19th of September. They're saying with the new bill, new act, people driving while they don't have valid leave to remain, visa, that will be regarded as criminal offense directly as it is.
So driving whilst your immigration issue, or if you become like an immigration overstayer, would become a criminal offense.
Yeah, can become a criminal offense according to new bill. So this is coming very soon.
I think also employers employing somebody would become a criminal offense.
Similarly, I was going to add. And renting someone, if I rent my room or my property to someone who hasn't got leave to remain or visa, the same offense.
So they're criminalizing.
Criminalizing, yeah.
So before it was a financial punishment, £3,000 fine on a landlord, 20,000 fine on an employer, banks won't open your bank account. Now you can't drive. And
this will attract both the fine plus
subject to criminal sanctions. That's a very, very, very harsh punishment, and I think the objective is to frighten employers, frighten landlords.
This new bill talks about more on the employers employing people who does not have valid visa. So previously, if any employer would attract £5,000 penalty, now it could be higher, up to 15,000 plus 6 months at least imprisonment.
So it's up to
this is scary for.
It's up to the magistrates. Okay, that is scary, because if you're an employer, you don't want to go to prison. You don't want to pay the fine. It's not good for business. It's not good for your freedom.
No.
Viewers, we are talking about immigration law. We're talking about family law. You can ask your questions in English, Bengali, Urdu, Arabic, inshallah. The guest has experience on 3-4 different areas of law. So today is a good day to call in and ask your questions. Tell me about entrepreneur applications, because you do quite a few of the entrepreneur applications.
Yes. For the last 6 to 12 months last year, I've been dealing with entrepreneur appeals mainly.
Just for the viewers, when you say entrepreneur, what do we mean?
Actually, students who have been studying in this country after finishing their education, either a degree or master's, they could apply for a business visa. We say in lay English, easy English.
So from being a student, they become a business person and then apply.
Yes.
Okay.
So they apply for visa, 3 years. Now there is requirements. If they were in post-study visa after their completion of studies, if they were in another visa to work for 2 years, they could apply having only 50,000.
So this is £50,000 they invest in the business?
Yes.
Okay.
So either invested in a business or having the full cash into their bank account. And the other category is £200,000.
So that's for someone who's not a student, who's not on the post-study?
Yeah, someone who was a student but not was a PSW, which we call.
They discontinued PSW?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to ask you to hold on there. Let's take a few calls. Assalamu alaikum. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum, brother. Just do not want to say my name. I just needed your advice. I'm so sorry. It's just regarding my 5 months old niece. I'm her guardian, and it's because her mom passed away while she was giving birth to her, and dad wasn't in a position to look after a girl baby, so he just handed over the girl baby to me, and we did a guardianship document in that country. It's actually in India. So, I've been struggling to get her over here with me. Both me and my husband have a British passport. So just wanted to know, how should I proceed for that, please? Can you advise me?
Okay, so sister, if I understood your question correctly, unfortunately the mother passed away giving birth to this child who happens to be your niece. The father is not involved in the child's life. You have a guardianship arrangement for this child, so you're a legal guardian, and the child is still in India, and you want to be able to bring the child to the UK.
She's under my care with my mom, and both, like my mom isn't able to look after the child, and so I was thinking, if the girl, I am guardian, and we have done that guardianship document.
Okay, inshallah, I will ask my guest, I will ask Mohammed Iqbal to give you more information on this, inshallah. But please do remember, of course, we give general advice, so we can give you pointers, directions, etc. Okay, let's take the next caller, and then we'll address both questions. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brother, my name is Riyadh, and I'm calling from Modern.
Okay, what's your question, please, Riyadh?
My question is, on 17th of August, I went to Croydon Premium Service Center to apply for my ILR on the basis of 10-year long residency. So my friend also went with me, and he got it after 1 hour. We had the same thing, and after 5 hours, I asked query, and then after that they told me they can't make the decision today. Nobody asked me any question or anything in the meantime, and then I asked why, and then lady said they are not confirmed about my continuous residency. So this is it, and I have given a letter, and then since then I've been waiting. So my question is, I never had any gap or anything. My current visa is tier 1 general, which is finishing on next year. And so that's one question: how long should and what they're going to check. And I was and my
did they not give you a letter saying that additional documents, you've got 14 days to deliver?
No, nothing.
Nothing like that. So they have not sought anything from yourself. They're just checking on their side.
Only thing the lady asked me, the lady who gave me the handle letter, so what kind of documents you submitted today? And I said to my 2 passports and my travel history and my biometric card. And she said, did you submit any your council tax letter? I said, no, that's not relevant. And then she said, okay, you just wait and we'll get back to you. We need to check with other department your continuous residency. And so my second question is, on the letter they put a case ID. I just wondering, that case ID started with 0. Does it refer to anything? Because all my previous extension, when I went to go directly, started with 1. So I'm just wondering, does it make anything, or is just nothing to worry about?
Okay, khair, that's fine.
We
will address your question, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Okay, so we'll do it in reverse order. We'll do the brother first and then the sister.
Inshallah.
Okay. So brother had 2 questions. One is on 17th of August 2015, he went for same-day service for indefinite leave to remain, him and a friend. The friend got his ILR after 1 hour. After 5 hours, they told him, we're not able to make a decision today. And they gave him a letter. And the reason they gave is they could not confirm the continuous residency. Okay. Usually from your experience, what's supposed to happen next?
Normally in that case, continuous residency, they look for 10 years lawful continuous residency. So there are 3 things: 10 years, continuous, and lawful. So the 2 passports submitted, the brother Riyadh said, he submitted 2 passports. So they will check the 2 passports very carefully, the sales stamps going out,
the
visas and coming in. If there is any gap more than 6 months, then maybe they will ask for an explanation whether there is any valid explanation for that.
Okay.
If not, I believe, inshallah, there will be a positive response.
Okay. I just could add a little bit further, which is that something has raised question. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a negative thing. So it could be that on their system some dates aren't matching or something else has come up. And so they're not in a position to make the decision same day. Now, my advice on this issue would be that from 17th of August to 21st September, it's advisable that you actually write a letter to them and inquire as to what's happening. Because sometimes if you shake the tree, the fruits do fall. And you need to tell them, look, I paid extra £400 for a same-day service. I don't want to be waiting 6 months for my response. Usually if you send that letter, inshallah, another 3-4 weeks, you should have a response. And I hope and pray that it's a positive response. Sometimes, they're waiting for some response from another agency and it's not come back on time. And so that's why it's been delayed. Sometimes they ask for additional documents. They give you 2 weeks to give it. After 2 weeks, they take another 2 weeks. So you're looking at around 4 or 5 weeks. In your case, they've not asked for. That does not mean they cannot ask for more documents later. They can. And inshallah, if they do, that's a good sign, because they think if you give this document, they're more likely to say yes. Usually the Home Office does not ask for documents if this document will not make a change in their decision. So if they're going to say no regardless, they will not ask you for additional documents. Okay? So that's the first question in terms of timing. The second part was in terms of how long delay. Okay, khair, inshallah. Let's go to the ladies' question, which is related to bringing a child who's not your own child. Okay, so this could be an adopted or having guardianship arrangement. Are you familiar with this area?
Not quite.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Sister, what I will say to you is that if a child is abroad and the child is not your biological child, then you need to meet requirements as follows. One, that the child, you are involved in the child's day-to-day care. You send money abroad. You are basically the primary carer for that child. And whoever's providing care abroad is no longer able to do so. So if it's your mom or auntie or whoever's looking after the child abroad, they need to put an affidavit saying, I was looking after this child on behalf of so-and-so. I can no longer do that. And then you need to show that you have the adequate finances, accommodation, etc. for the child to come and reside here. Now, the biggest problem I can see is the absence of the father. Now, we are in a bit of a sort of catch-22. Because the father is in India and the child is in India, the British Embassy is likely to say, no, why can't the father look after his own child? So we have an issue. Now, if the father gets involved and does an affidavit and says, I'm not involved in the child's life, I'm not going to assist, well, him giving the affidavit is him assisting. So there's a problem there. If we say he's not in the picture, we don't know where he is, it's an application that can be made, but it has to be prepared properly, taking into account all the issues, making sure the embassy understands that you are the primary carer for this child. The child is your responsibility. You need to provide proof that you've been sending money, you've been sending gifts, you've been sort of taking an interest as though the child is your own child, and you have adequate accommodation, finances, etc. here to accommodate the child, inshallah. But it has to be done properly because the father is there, and the embassy will be inclined to refuse because one of the parents of the child is still in India and the child is in India. So that may be a difficulty. Okay, please do email me, inshallah. I'll send you the full set of requirements. But usually we need to show that you're responsible and there's no parent to look after this child. In this case, there is a parent. Okay, let's take the next caller. Assalamu alaikum. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum salam.
What's your question, please?
My question is that my son recently got married in Pakistan, and he wants to apply for his wife to come and join him in United Kingdom. And I wonder what sort of documents does he need for his wife's
to come and join him here. Is your son working?
Visa. Can you please tell me?
Is your son working?
Down, and I will listen to you on the television.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, brother. That's not a problem. Do you want to address this one?
Yes.
Classical spouse visa requirements.
Yes. Brother, if your son is working, the first thing you have to check how much is he earning per year. If he earns 18,600 a year
or
more, yeah, at least 18,600 per year, so he is financially eligible to bring his wife. So when he applies, he needs to show with the pay slips or P60s that he is earning the money minimum threshold amount, which is 18,600 per year, and he needs to submit the other evidence to show like marriage certificates, some wedding photographs, the proof of contacts, yeah, how he maintain the contacts with his wife, like letters, cards or telephone calls. So this is the requirement to show.
Inshallah, if I may add, in terms of spouse visa requirements, depending on which country they're coming from, there is a requirement for tuberculosis, so they'll need a medical tuberculosis. In terms of financial requirement, as Mohammed Iqbal said, it is 18,600, provided there's no non-British, non-European children. If there's children, it does go up, and it's gross amount, so not after tax and insurance. This is the initial amount they get paid. It's around £1,550 per month. The evidence provided has to be for minimum 6 months, supported by pay slips and bank statements to show the net amount is in the bank account. For genuine relationship, we would say marriage certificate, wedding pictures, communication. If they're doing WhatsApp, Skype, Viber, screenshots, printouts, whatever evidence we can give in relation to that. If they paid visits, flights out, flights back in, if they stayed in any hotels, hotel reservations, all these things are relevant. In terms of what they need to show here, they need to show adequate accommodation so that there's sufficient place to live here. If it's rented, then the landlord will have to provide a letter confirming that they have no objections for the spouse to come over, and also there will be no statutory overcrowding. In other words, the accommodation is legally suitable for the couple to live in. If it's privately owned, then you may want to instruct a surveyor to do a surveyor's report in terms of how many rooms, how many persons it can accommodate, etc., etc. In terms of general rules or general requirements, of course, if there's been previous refusals, if there's been one party previously married, etc., we need to be careful and make sure we put all the details correctly, inshallah. If you email us, inshallah, we can send you the full list. Jazakallah khair for that. Let's take the next caller. Assalamu alaikum. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Let's take the next caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, if you reduce your TV's volume, because there is a delay, so if you speak to me on the phone, inshallah.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, what's your question, please?
My question is, there's one of my relatives, and she's got 3 daughters, and they're all 3 under 18, and they're British national. But the dad has passed away, and they're at the moment living in Pakistan. The mum used to live here, but when they banned back, dad passed away. And can they come in? Mum doesn't have the British nationality, but all the 3 daughters have it.
Did the mom have indefinite? Did she have spouse visa? What did she have?
Sorry?
What did the mother have? Did she ever come
Mother
here?
used to live here. She did apply for indefinite, but then she went back and she couldn't come back because of financial problems. But now she wants to come because there's no support for her from anywhere. And can she come and bring her 3 daughters?
Okay, Iqbal, you want to deal with this one?
Yeah.
Basically, so the mother went back home. She was here on a spouse visa, went back home. She didn't apply for indefinite. she has 3 children. They're British citizens. The father, the children's father, her husband, has passed away. Now, if the husband was around, we would say spouse visa, and that's it. So in these circumstances, does the mother have options?
Yeah, there are 2 things, in my head. One is if her husband was a British citizen or not. If that was yes.
Let's assume he was.
Assume yes. So she has a retained rights in one side. Another side is how many months or how long is she in Pakistan or outside UK. So
I think it may be some time she's been in Pakistan.
So if explaining that was exceptional circumstances and beyond 6 months, we assume. So there is a possibility, yes. I feel you can add.
Sister, the question you've raised is an interesting one, inshallah. It is difficult because you cannot apply for a simple spouse visa. Now, if you had indefinite leave and you return to your home country and you were there for 1 year, 1.5, 2 years, you still can come back. If it was more than 2 years and you had good reason, you still can come back. You would apply for returning residence permit. Things as they stand, your daughters, your children can come to the UK, no problem. You would need to come to the UK. Right now, I can't really say what options is the best. So inshallah, if you email us, we will email you back. But you need to essentially get some sort of visa that gets you back into the UK. And once you're here, inshallah, FLRFP, you have 3 British children, they need you as their mother, you can stay here. But out country, it is complicated. So inshallah, we'll look into it and respond next week. If you email us, we'll respond to you, inshallah. Because there isn't a general category to come here as the parent of a British child. If you're in the UK, you can remain here as their primary carer, but there isn't one from abroad. So we'll have to find a way for you to come here first. I don't want to suggest come here as a visitor, etc. Inshallah, we'll look into the matter and get back to you. It's quite difficult, isn't it? Because they will say, well, you're originally from Pakistan. Yes, the children, or whichever country they're from, the children have been living there. So there isn't an overriding interest for them to really come here. But of course, she's experiencing difficulty, so that's something she needs to
she can apply.
Needs to address. And of course, if she's coming from over there, any financial requirements, any accommodation, etc., she would need support. It's not going to be easy.
Right.
Even the European rules, you can't really rely too much on children exercising treaty rights. Okay, khair. Well, I think we're coming to the end of the show. So what I'd like to do is thank the viewers for calling in today, asking your questions. Please do remember you can write to us, justlaw@iqra.tv with your questions. When we do get your questions, inshallah, within 2-3 days, we should respond to you. If it's for Mohammed Iqbal, we can forward your question to him, and inshallah, he will respond to your questions. What's left for me to say is Jazakallah khair for coming to the show and sharing your thoughts and ideas. Would like to have you on the show perhaps next time as well.
Thank you very much as well.
Okay, viewers, that's all we have time for today. Jazakallah khair for watching. Enjoy your day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.